This is Canada. Canada, a land shaped by ice carved by wind and ruled by the seasons. From the frozen Arctic tundra to the vast boreal forests stretching across the continent, survival here is never guaranteed. When winter descends, temperatures can fall below -30 degrees Celsius, rivers freeze. Lakes harden into stone. Food vanishes beneath meters of snow. For many creatures, winter is a sentence. The largest member of the deer family, the moose is a symbol of Canada's wild heart. Standing up to 2 meters tall at the shoulder and weighing over 600 kilograms, this towering herbivore moves through dense forests with surprising grace. But size alone does not define the moose. Its true power lies in its ability to endure. Moose are perfectly adapted for life in cold climates. Long legs lift their bodies above deep winter snow and allow them to wade through marshes and lakes in summer. Their broad hooves spread wide, acting like natural snowshoes in winter and paddles in muddy wetlands. A thick, insulating coat protects them from freezing temperatures. Beneath the fur hollow, guard hairs trap heat close to the body. In winter, when temperatures plunge far below zero, a moose remains active. Unlike bears, they do not hibernate, they endure. Their long, flexible upper lip allows them to grasp branches with precision. During summer, they're fed on aquatic plants, leaves, and shrubs. In winter, when green vegetation disappears, they survive on bark, twigs, and woody stems. It is not a rich diet, but it is enough to keep them going all winter. Autumn marks the rut, the breeding season. For bull moose, this is the most intense time of year. Massive antlers, grown throughout the summer, reach their full size. Some can span over 6 feet from tip to tip. These antlers are not just for display. They are weapons. Bulls compete for the attention of females through vocal calls and physical combat. The sound of antlers clashing echoes through the forest. The grizzly bear is a subspecies of the brown bear, scientifically known as Ursus arctos horribilis. An adult male can weigh between 300 and 600 kilograms, standing nearly 8 feet tall on its hind legs. Its distinctive shoulder hump is not fat, it is pure muscle. That muscle power's enormous, 4 limbs equipped with long claws, designed not for killing, but for digging. Digging roots, digging ground squirrels, digging dens. Despite their size, grizzlies can run at speeds up to 55 kilometers per hour. And they possess an extraordinary sense of smell, capable of detecting food from kilometers away. In the Canadian wilderness, these abilities are not luxuries. They are necessities. Though often feared as relentless predators, grizzlies are opportunistic OM&IORIs. Their diet changes with the seasons. In spring, when they emerge from hibernation, they feed on grasses, roots, and winter-killed animals. Their bodies, weakened from months of fasting, need quick nourishment. Summer brings berries, blueberries, huckleberries, and buffalo berries. A grizzly may consume tens of thousands of berries in a single day, building fat reserves for winter. But the most dramatic feeding season arrives in autumn. Along British Columbia's rivers, salmon return from the ocean to spawn. and grizzlies gather. With patience and precision, they swipe fish from rushing waters, sometimes eating only the most nutrient-rich parts before catching another. This short window of abundance is critical. Without enough stored fat, a grizzly cannot survive winter. As temperatures drop and food disappears, the grizzly prepares for hibernation. IT digs in often on a steep hillside, lining it with vegetation for insulation. Then IT sleeps for up to 6 months. During hibernation, a grizzly's heart rate slows dramatically. It does not eat. It does not drink. It does not even urinate. Its body recycles nutrients with remarkable efficiency. For pregnant females, this is also the time of birth. Tiny cubs, blind and weighing less than a kilogram, are born in the safety of the den. They nurse throughout winter, sustained by their mother's fat reserves. By spring, they emerge into a world of both opportunity and danger. A mother grizzly is one of the most protective animals in the Canadian wilderness. Cubs remain with her for up to 3 years. During that time, she teaches them where to find food, how to fish, how to avoid danger. The greatest threat to cubs is not always wolves, it can be other male bears. Adult males may kill cubs to bring the female back into breeding condition. For this reason, mothers are constantly alert. Raising cubs requires immense energy and sacrifice, but it ensures the next generation of grizzlies will roam these mountains. Grizzlies are largely solitary animals. Each bear occupies a vast territory, sometimes hundreds of square kilometers, depending on food availability. They communicate through scent markings, claw marks on trees, and subtle vocalizations. Contrary to their fierce reputation, grizzlies typically avoid humans. Most encounters happen because a bear is surprised or protecting cubs. When left undisturbed, they prefer isolation. Quiet strength over unnecessary conflict. More than a powerful predator, it is an ecological engineer. When bears drag salmon into forests, nutrients from the ocean are transferred into the soil. These nutrients fertilize trees, strengthening entire ecosystems. Seeds consumed in berries are spread across vast landscapes. Even in death, a grizzly nourishes the land in Canada's wilderness. Everything is connected, and the grizzly is at the center of that connection. Strong enough to dominate, wise enough to endure. The Canadian grizzly is not simply a symbol of power. It is a symbol of resilience, of balance, of wildness that still remains in a modern world. In the mountains and forests of Canada, the grizzly bear walks a path carved by instinct and survival. just instinct, it is resilience. Through ice and fire, snow and sun, life continues. This is Canada wild, power-giving, and alive. Across the vast plains of Canada, where grasslands stretch to the horizon and winter storms sweep without mercy, a living monument still stands. The buffalo, more accurately known as the American bison, the largest land mammal in North America, a symbol of strength, endurance, survival, once numbering in the tens of millions. Vast herds thundered across the prairies from Alberta to Manitoba, shaping the land with every step. Today, though their numbers are smaller, their spirit remains unchanged. The American bison, scientifically known as bison, can weigh over 900 kilograms. Males stand nearly 2 meters tall at the shoulder, crowned by a massive head and a thick, muscular hump. That hump powers their strength, allowing them to plough through deep snow in winter and swing their heads with incredible force. A dense, shaggy coat protects them from brutal Canadian winters. Snow gathers on their backs but rarely penetrates the insulating fur beneath. Unlike many animals, buffalo do not flee winter. Buffalo are social animals. They live in herds, protective, structured communities. Females and calves often form nursery groups, while adult males may roam alone or in bachelor groups until breeding season. Safety lies in numbers. When threatened, the herd does not scatter like deer. Instead, they may form a defensive circle, calves protected in the centre, adults facing outward. Wolves, their primary natural predators, understand this formation well. Only the young, the sick, or the isolated are vulnerable. Together, the herd is powerful. Buffalo are herbivores, feeding primarily on grasses and sedges. They graze for hours each day, moving slowly across the plains, but their feeding does more than sustain them. It shapes the ecosystem. By grazing selectively, they stimulate new plant growth. Their hooves churn soil, helping seeds take root. Their wallowing, rolling in dirt to remove parasites, creates shallow depressions that collect rainwater, forming small habitats for birds and insects. Buffalo are herbivores, feeding primarily on grasses and sedges. They graze for hours each day, moving slowly across the plains, but their feeding does more than sustain them. It shapes the ecosystem. By grazing selectively, they stimulate new plant growth. Their hooves churn soil, helping seeds take root. Their wallowing, rolling in dirt to remove parasites, creates shallow depressions that collect rainwater, forming small habitats for birds and insects. The prairie is not just where buffalo live. It is what they help create. Winter on the Canadian plains can be merciless. Blizzards roar across open land. Temperatures plunge far below freezing. Yet buffalo endure. Unlike deer, they do not rely on speed to escape snow. Instead, they use brute strength. Swinging their massive heads, they sweep snow aside to uncover buried grasses beneath. Their thick winter coats trap heat so efficiently that snow often rests on their backs without melting, proof of the insulation below. They lower their heads into the wind during storms, minimizing exposure. They conserve energy. They survive. In les Zumadam, prairie erupts with tension. It is rutting season. Massive bulls challenge one another for dominance and breeding rights. They bellow, deep, rumbling calls that echo across open land. Then they charge, head to head, skull against skull. The impact can be thunderous. These battles determine hierarchy within the herd, but they rarely end in death. In the 1800s, uncontrolled hunting nearly wiped out the buffalo. Once vast herds were reduced to only a few hundred individuals. The loss reshaped ecosystems and devastated indigenous communities who depended on the buffalo for food, clothing, and shelter, but conservation efforts began. Protected parks, breeding programs, and indigenous-led restoration initiatives slowly rebuilt populations. Today, wild and managed herds roam parts of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and the Northwest Territories. Though they may never reach their historic numbers again, they are once more part of Canada's living wilderness. Sir elk, known scientifically as Cervus canadensis, the Canadian elk, often called the wapiti, is one of the largest members of the deer family in the world. From the rugged Rocky Mountains of Alberta and British Columbia to the forests of Ontario and Manitoba, elk have shaped Canada's wild landscapes for thousands of years. An adult bull elk can weigh between 300 and 500 kilograms and stand over 1.5 meters at the shoulder. In autumn, males carry massive antlers that can stretch more than a meter wide. These antlers are grown and shed each year among the fastest growing bone structures in the animal kingdom. Their bodies are built for endurance. Long, powerful legs allow them to travel great distances across mountains and through deep forest. A thick winter coat insulates them against Canada's freezing temperatures. Elk are not fragile creatures. They are survivors. Elk are social animals. For most of the year, cows and calves live together in large herds, sometimes numbering in the hundreds. These herds provide protection from predators and help young elk learn migration routes and feeding grounds. Bulls, outside of breeding season, often form bachelor groups, sparring lightly. Elk are crepuscular animals. That means they are most active at dawn and dusk. In the early morning light, herds move into open meadows to graze on grasses, shrubs, and young plants. During midday, they often retreat to shaded forest areas to rest and ruminate, chewing their cud to properly digest plant material. As ruminants, elk have a four-chambered stomach. This allows them to break down tough vegetation and extract nutrients efficiently. At dusk, they return to feeding grounds. This daily pattern balances nutrition with safety, because danger is always present. For most of the year, females, called cows, live together in herds along with their calves. These herds can range from a dozen individuals to several hundred, depending on habitat and season. There is no strict leader like in wolf packs. Instead, older, experienced females often guide group movement. Bulls compete for harems. Groups of cows they attempt to gather and guard. They posture. They parallel walk. They thrash bushes with their antlers. If neither backs down, they clash. Antlers collide in explosive battles of strength and endurance. The strongest male earns breeding rights. But the rut is exhausting. By the time winter approaches, many bulls have lost significant weight. Shortly after breeding season ends, they shed their antlers, and the cycle begins again. Along the rugged coastlines, vast lakes, and winding rivers of Canada lives one of the most powerful birds in North America. The bald eagle, majestic, precise, patient, with a wingspan stretching over 2 meters and eyes sharp enough to spot prey from hundreds of meters above. The bald eagle is the undisputed ruler of Canadian skies. But beyond its striking white head and commanding presence lies a story of survival, intelligence, family, and remarkable recovery. This is everything you need to know about the Canadian bald eagle. The bald eagle, scientifically known as Haliaeetus leucocephalus, is found across much of Canada, from British Columbia's Pacific coast to the Great Lakes of Ontario, and even into parts of the Northern Territories. Despite its name, the bald eagle is not bald. The word bald comes from an Old English term meaning white-headed. Juvenile bald eagles are entirely dark brown. It takes about 5 years for them to develop the iconic white head and tail that signal adulthood. Canada holds one of the largest populations of bald eagles in the world, and nowhere are they more concentrated than along the salmon-rich rivers of British Columbia. Green forests ignite into crimson, gold spills across valleys. Mountains glow beneath amber skies. This is autumn in Canada, a season of breathtaking beauty and urgent preparation. It is not simply the change between summer and winter. It is nature's grand transition, a season of colour, migration, harvest, and survival. The colours of autumn are not random, they are science. Throughout spring and summer, trees produce chlorophyll, the green pigment that allows them to convert sunlight into energy. But as days grow shorter and temperatures cool, trees begin preparing for winter. Chlorophyll production slows, green fades, and hidden pigments are revealed. Carotenoids create yellow and orange hues. Anthocyanins produce deep reds and purples. In Canada, few trees are more iconic than the maple. The sugar maple transforms into brilliant scarlet, painting provinces like Ontario and Quebec in fiery tones. Birch trees glow golden. Aspens shimmer yellow. Red oaks burn with copper intensity. Each species has its own palette. Together, they create one of the most spectacular autumn displays on Earth. Some of the largest forest systems in the world. The boreal forest alone stretches across much of the country. In autumn, these forests shift from growth to conservation. Deciduous trees shed leaves to prevent water loss and snow damage during winter. Evergreens, pine, spruce, fir retain their needles, specially adapted to survive freezing temperatures. Autumn is not an ending. It is a renewal process. This is discovering wildlife at its finest. Thanks for your support. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Until next time, stay wild and stay safe.